a child does not respond to his name, many parents become concerned. Adults find it challenging to call children's attention or get them to stop what they are doing as a result. Children also find it challenging to interact socially with their peers since they might not be aware that someone else is speaking to them. One of the earliest social behaviors our babies learn is to respond to their names. Babies usually start responding to the names around 8 to 10 months. Researchers at the UC Davis Mind Institute and American Speech and Hearing Association have found a child's failure to consistently respond to one's name by the first birthday is often one of the most consistent early indicators of autism spectrum disorder and other developmental delays. Keep in mind though that just because a child is not responding to his name, it doesn't necessarily mean that he or she has autism. Many symptoms of autism must be present before their diagnosis can be made. Children without autism can also have difficulty with this, especially if they have significant communication delays or cognitive delays. But before you get to any of that, make sure to rule out a hearing loss by scheduling an appointment with your child's pediatrician or an audiologist. We always need to rule out a possible medical issue first. So in this video, I'll be discussing why children responding to the names are important, why children ignore when the names are being called, and 8 tips to remember when you work with your child to improve the name call response. So if you are a worried parent, I hope this video helps you. Hey there, welcome back to my social media platform, TheHappySLP. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Hannah Elsa Abraham and I'm an audiologist and a speech language pathologist from India. I create videos to raise public awareness about speech, language, hearing and swallowing issues. Let us get back to the topic. Why responding to the name is so important. Learning to respond to the name is a critical skill because it is the foundation of so many other skills like attention, comprehension of language, expressive language, social interactions with adults and kids, self-regulation and safety. Next, let's see why do children ignore when parents call their name. Many parents report that the child used to respond to the name and somehow they have unlearned to do so. We have to think about why you're calling your children's name. Sometimes parents call for their child's attention for self-serving reasons. So once they get their attention, they look at how cute they are and that's it. Slowly, delayed children who derive no social reward from this kind of interaction will learn that there is not anything in for them and not react to the parents. So I can bet that most children do react to the names when parents are holding their favorite food and especially if the children are hungry. So if your child is delayed in responding to the name, the following are tips to help encourage the development of this skill. Number 1. Decrease the number of times you use the name. You might be wondering if you heard me well. Yes, you heard that correctly. When we use the name too often, it fades into the background and doesn't have any meaning. Limit the number of times you use the name during the day, especially with demands or when telling them no. Keep using the name during play activities, but limit how much you use it in other situations. Make sure everyone else at home is also doing this. We don't want our child to ignore his name because he thinks only bad things happen when his name is called. Number 2. Decrease the distractions around him. You need to teach your child how to look at you when you call him, therefore you need to limit what else is happening around him. Teach him in a quiet room, turn off the TV, have siblings go somewhere else for a few minutes and get rid of the bins of toys. You can increase the likelihood that your child will respond to you when there are fewer distractions. Teach first in a structured, quiet setting before moving on to teaching them in a more natural space like a living room or a toy room and all. Third, be close aunt and friend. Besides decreasing distractions, we also need to be close to the kid. Don't shout the names across the room. Don't call her name when you're behind her. We want to do everything we can to increase the likelihood that your child will look at you. Be close and be in front. You can place your child in the high chair and sit right in front of them. Make it easy for the child to respond when you call their name by being right in the line of sight. Number 4, change your tone of voice. Many toddlers or 2-year-olds and preschoolers love rhymes. So if you notice your child responds well to music, try calling the name in a sing-song tone of voice. So instead of saying just Emma in the usual tone of voice, try Emma, I see you. You can try that. Number 5, change the volume of your voice. So try using louder and softer volumes when you call your child. See for which the child responds better. Number 6, remove name from commands. I'll give you an example. If my dad only called my name when he wanted me to do something I didn't want to do, I wouldn't pay attention to him. So if he only called my name when I needed to stop doing something I liked, I wouldn't pay attention to him. So while you're teaching your child to respond to the name, do not attach the name to all the commands and directions. For example, hey John, stop jumping. John, turn off the TV. I know this one is hard, but you have to try. Instead, use the name during play and other fun activities. Oh John, you have a big dinosaur. Oh John, you're jumping so well. So appreciate them and talk about their toys using their name, but never to the commands that you give. 7. Attach the name to getting to the favorite thing. Does your daughter love bubbles more than anything? Then you call and add her name to the bubbles so that she knows you're calling her to play with bubbles and she would readily come to you. And the last one, number 8, always have a rewarding object or action planned and ready. Be ready to have something fun or exciting to give to your child to reinforce the action of responding to her name. This could be a little treat, a high five, a hug, a tickle or a sticker or any other rewarding action. Play is largely how little children learn. For example, if your child enjoys stacking blocks, take control of the blocks and use each block to reinforce the response to the name. You hold the blocks and call her name, and when she looks in your direction, even accidentally, you smile and hand over a block. Repeat until the tower is built. So if she doesn't look at you, say her name again louder and make some sort of commotion like probably tapping on her hand, and keep doing this until she looks over at you. Reward her with what you have chosen. So each time you reward her, make sure you tell her that you are doing a good job. So you can say like, oh, you've heard your name, good looking. Keep doing this and make sure you try just saying her name first and then only resort to waving or tapping if she doesn't respond. So keep doing this until your child will look at you when you say her name about 80% of time in this isolated setting. At that point, you'll be ready to move on to the next step. Keep in mind that shorter, more frequent sessions work best to work on the skill, as the child may quickly tire of looking at you every time he hears his name. Let us sum up those 8 tips quickly. Remember, reduce distractions and be in front. Once your child is looking away from you, call their name again. As soon as he looks toward you, give him his favorite thing and say something like, you looked at me, awesome. So if you want to pair the reward with some social praise, you can hug, squeeze, tickle, or just use a phrase like, oh, you looked at me, you're so great. So wait for your child to look away again and repeat the process. So repeat it several times until your child starts to get impatient, and end on a positive note and do it again later that day or tomorrow. So once your child is responding in a structured setting, we want to increase the number of distractions slightly and see how he does. So the next time you're ready to work on the skill, sit down with your child in a location that has more distraction than the last one. Go into his room where there are more toys or in the living room where there's a TV. Do the same activity from the last step where you say his name and reward him if he looks at you. If he doesn't look at you, say his name again a little more louder and make some sort of attention-seeking activities to catch attention. Then reward him when he does look at you. This may be harder for him now that there are more distractions. So make sure that you give him a moment to play between each time you try this. So you want to make sure that he is focused on something else when you call his name so that he is practicing bringing himself out of what he is doing instead of simply continuing to look at you once his focus is already on you. So keep doing this until your child will look at you when you say his or her name about 80% of the time. By the time you're ready to move on, you should not need to wave and cause a commotion to catch your child's attention. He should be able to respond to just his name. Responding in an unstructured setting. Once your child can respond to you when he is sitting down to work on it, we want to increase his ability to respond to his name at any time, any place. So that is how we make sure eventually it is not just in a structured setting they respond to name calls, but even in unstructured settings too. So I believe I was able to provide you with some information, and that's the whole point of this video. So in my next video, I'll be back with more tips to improve your child's speech and language skills. And if you think this video was helpful, leave a like and this will help my channel tremendously. And if you want to continue to learn more about the related content, feel free to check out the playlist or check out the videos up there. Furthermore, consider subscribing so that you will not miss future videos. You can always contact me, the Happy SLP, either via comments or through my social media handles, Facebook or Instagram, regarding your concerns and queries regarding speech, language, hearing, and swallowing issues. The links are given below in the description, and I will try my best to help you. So until we meet again in another video, stay happy and much love. Hannah, the Happy SLP.